Okay, hello everyone. Today's talk is focused on your skin's ideal state. So the reboot has done a really good job of talking about inflammation in the gut and different recipes and foods to avoid in order to reduce inflammation inside the gut and help the skin glow from the inside out. But what I really want to talk about today is actually your skin, the skin that we see, what that's made of, and then what is the ideal state. So just like when you can have a strong digestive system and those people who can just eat everything and digest it, there's this strong and ideal skin state that we are trying to get into. And I think that if we can understand that better, then we can learn why, how to avoid things like picking or what that is actually doing. So I'm just going to go through some pictures and have a conversation, and then if you like what you see or if you have comments, then we can dig deeper into the conversation. So what you see, your skin is all dead. This is all dead skin cell. The new fresh epidermis is a much deeper level, and that's actually the 28 days. It takes about 28 days, usually actually a little more, in order for that new skin underneath to completely surface to the top. So for your complete skin to completely regenerate. So if this is your skin cell, here's your hair follicle. This is all the new skin layer here, and then this top layer of skin is called your stratum corneum, and this is all dead skin, and it's just falling off and becoming dust during the month, and we're just scratching it and we're itching it, and it's pretty gross when we think about it a lot because we've got a lot of skin and it's all dead and it's all falling off. But what was never really researched before, like back in the day, they didn't think that there was much of a purpose of this skin, but the dermatologists and science has started to research what the stratum corneum looks like under a microscope a little bit more, and it has this very unique chemical structure that looks very similar to a brick and mortar wall under a microscope. And so this is all your dead skin. It's already dead, and these are the dead skin cells, and in between the dead skin cells is your skin's natural sebum, so your skin's natural oils. And what this does is, let's get my slide going here, my old school slides, new age technology. What this does is it actually repels water. So in an ideal skin state, your dead skin looks like a brick and mortar wall. In between those bricks has a nice healthy amount of sebum, not too much, not too little, like Goldilocks. And that top layer of skin is creating pretty much a protective barrier that is letting no allergens in. Nothing can break through this really strong, permeable oil kind of skin layer. And it's also keeping the water and the moisture inside the body. So that's that nice kind of supple, soft look. It's not dry. It's got a lot of like cushiness to it, very hydrated and moist skin. So that's the ideal skin state. But what happens is we do a lot of things on the daily, especially in a month, that can kind of play with that healthy skin state. So one thing that strips that skin of its oil or wrecks the brick and mortar wall is soap. Every time we use soap, we are kind of stripping down that natural oil of the skin and creating these holes or pockets for bacteria to get in. That's why often like nurses, new moms, people who are washing their hands a lot, they develop eczema on their skin. So we're excessively washing the skin and it's getting dried out. Another thing that disrupts that skin is excessive sweating or some sort of temperature or climate change. So changing of seasons is often a time where the skin changes a lot. Sweating a lot, sometimes it strips out the oil or lets bacteria in. And another thing that changes that a lot can be hormones. So that's kind of when diet comes into play, but also just natural phases of life. It changes how the sebum is produced, maybe a little bit too much, maybe a little bit too little. So you can understand how even though it's dead, this top layer of skin, it has this whole ideal kind of microenvironment, and that is a lipid loving environment. So If you've watched any of our videos or even watched a few of the mini clips inside the Facebook reboot, you'll see that we do use a face oil serum, and the purpose of that is really to nourish and hydrate that top stratum corneum, and as it turns over and as it rebuilds, to try and keep the moisture inside the body and repel anything from getting in. So the oils are there to support the skin's natural state. A lot of people think, I have oily skin. Why should I ever put an oil on my face? But the thing is, your skin is making that oil as a natural defense mechanism because it's trying to protect you from letting any allergens in. So if we use soap a lot, or we're scared of oils, we use that oil removing stuff, your skin's going to think, oh man, I really have to make more oil right now because I need to protect myself against these predators or allergens or bacteria or whatever. So often oily skin is a result of overproduction of oil to try and make up for the fact that there isn't any on there. So using oil on your skin can be helpful for that. Other things that can affect the external factor, is just bacteria. I mean, just like we have in our gut, the skin is covered in bacteria as well. There's good bacteria and bad bacteria. So soap does play a role in that if we have acne prone skin. So if the environment of your skin is naturally a little bit more acne prone, for example, like me, if you have more acne prone skin, it just means that there's kind of bacteria breeding on there that are not, they're the acne braiding bacteria. So I could have said that better, but you understand what I mean. And that's even more important to have the ideal skin state, that strong oil, lipid loving skin, so the bacteria can't get in there. That being said, we are always somewhere in between that ideal state and this kind of wreaked havoc, broken up brick and mortar state. So we're somewhere in between here. And what you can do if you are somebody who has like the acne prone skin, using something like a toner that has a pH balancing, like the apple cider vinegar, helps to reduce the risk of breakouts and dry it out. So if you ever go talk to some healthcare or skincare specialists, they might suggest drying out the acne. That's kind of what they're trying to do, is like kind of just drying it out, making an inhospitable environment for the bad bacteria so that your skin can regenerate. But I really just suggest using some sort of cleanser, getting rid of the bacteria, putting on a toner so that you are in an acidic environment. It needs to be acidic so bacteria can't thrive. And then your skin can naturally start to heal itself, and then some sort of oil cleansing practice or using an oil-based moisturizer to help nourish and treat the skin's natural microenvironment. So those are always what we're suggesting here at Miko Skin Co. for your skincare routine, and that's kind of the reasoning and the information behind it. A lot of people wonder about a cream, and so just to give you the background quickly to sum up, what a cream is it's both water and oil. So if you can imagine this image again, if you put a cream on that is both water and oil, what will happen is that because this is lipid loving and this is water loving, the cream will pass through this immediately and get into this part of the tissue. So the water in the cream gives this sense of the moisture. It kind of fills and pushes this up, and then the bloodstream carries it away. Now this is very important if you're trying to deliver the nutrients through the skin and into the bloodstream quite quickly, like a steroid cream or an ointment cream, or you're trying to treat something very deep down. But it is a little bit artificial because eventually you're going to be dehydrated again. So it's really the oil here that you want to support so that you can get that long-term hydration in your skin. The reason why we aren't making creams right now is because when you put oil and water together, they don't naturally get along, and that's when you require a lot more preservatives and emulsifiers, and we're trying to keep our ingredients as minimal as possible. So as much as I would love to experiment with creams, I also want to stay true to the amount of ingredients we're using. And as soon as we start to mix that oil and water together, that's inviting. We have to focus on bacteria and not letting any bacteria grow in the product. So keeping it as serums is really good for keeping the shelf life of the product and making sure that your skin is getting supported, and also just that long-term hydration. So that is your top layer of skin. That's what we're treating, the dead skin, surprisingly, but very important in keeping your skin hydrated and also protecting you against any type of exterior allergens, breakouts, anything like that. Thanks for tuning in. Cheers.